Hello, my name is David and I'm the COO here at Boit. Today we're going to look at this completed coach that I'm standing next to. It is a 40-foot blood clinic going to Sterling, Virginia. It's built on a Freightliner M2 chassis. It's 40 feet long, it's 12.5 feet tall, and it's 102 inches wide. We're going to do an exterior walk around and then we'll go inside the coach. All of our coaches at Boit come with three types of power. We have shore power, we have generator power, and we have battery power. This particular coach is our 20,000 watt EPS diesel generators. Because this is a blood coach, there are two. There's one on the other side, this one here on the passenger side. The equipment in there is identified on the power panel as what is AC, what is DC, and then your ability to switch from generator to shore power. We're gonna go around to the driver's side and I'll show you some of the technology on the outside. Our blood clinics do not have plumbing. We do this for the reason of potential contamination of the blood and of the platelets that might be on the coach. So there is no exterior plumbing, dump doors, or anything like that. But on these large chassis, you have the ability of storage options outside the coach. So what we have here is a 48-inch exterior storage box. And with this, the bigger the coach, the more options you have exterior-wise for these boxes. We could fit two on this side, one on that side, and again, depending on the generator configuration, potentially a third. You can see up here the other driver's side EPS diesel generator. Now we're going to go around and go inside the coach. On our coaches at Boit, you have two options for entry steps. You can get deployable electric steps, or you can get our standard, which is what we call our flip out steps. These steps, you release that, pull the handle out, and then you pull that down. These are built out of aluminum. They're very sturdy. They have tread plate on them, and they're actually one of our more popular options as compared to the electric steps where you have motor and other things that could fail over time. We also, every one of our large coaches has a flip out handrail. These handles lock, and they can be locked shut or locked open, and then we can go inside the coach. Coming into the coach, as we enter in through the entry door, we have two interview rooms. So in a blood coach, you come in, you sit down, and they do the interview where they decide whether or not you're able to give blood on that day. So these are two rooms, and they have pocket doors. So for privacy. Once you come out of there, you come out into this waiting area. There's a bench seat right here, and you wait for your chance to go to the blood table or blood chairs. We have 5 blood chairs in this coach, and they're power chairs. So they will actually move either direction depending on the preference of the way the patient wants to lay. Each blood chair has a fan, and each blood chair has a device holder for a tablet or something to watch a movie or video while donating blood. We have custom built overhead cabinets for storage. We have our cabinets down here for storage. And then up here we have cooler holders. As I mentioned a minute ago, there's no plumbing in this coach. So all of the blood is stored in ice packed coolers. It's put in here. And then if they need to, they can drop this and they have a workspace. But this is basically for cooler storage. Coming up here, just again, more blood beds. Every truck comes with electric heat standard. We have tow heaters, or if the customer chooses, we can mount electric heaters on the walls. We also have other heat options if it's going to a cold climate. This particular coach is going to a warmer climate, so they don't need things like an LP furnace, Webasto diesel or gasoline heaters, but those are options for colder climates. As you come up here, you come up to the front, and then once you're done giving blood, you come up to the canteen area where you get orange juice or whatever they're giving, and you rest there before you exit the exit door. A couple of things I want to show you up here that are features are like a central vac. So all of our benches that you saw back there and that you see here underneath them have storage. However, we offer central vac options. So in this particular case, this little bench right here, underneath it has got a Dirt Devil central vac. So you would have all of your hoses and all of your equipment to run your central vac right there. You lift this up, and your central vac comes on. Also too, you have up here above the cab, on all of our coaches, you have many options for storage or whatever you want to use this for above the cab. So this particular customer has chosen a refrigerator, and then this side is just storage. This shelf is adjustable. On this side, we have the IT cabinet. So in here is your category 6 cabling. Every coach comes standard with 4 Cat 6 cables or jacks. You can add more, that's not a problem. But this is the cabinet where they terminate. There's power in here. So if you have data equipment or anything like that that you would need to use, you can use this cabinet for that. Over here is our generators. So as you saw before, we have 2 generators. These are the control units for each one of those. This coach also has hydraulic leveling jacks. There's your controls for the hydraulic leveling jacks. As I mentioned outside, all of our coaches come with battery power, shore power, and generator power. As you look at this power panel, these are custom built to the coach. And down here is your DC. So anything down here will run on battery. Anything up here will run on shore power or generator. Now, anytime your shore power is plugged in or your generators are running, you're charging your battery. So you can run this on battery, this needs a generator, or it needs shore power. The other thing about our coaches is every feature has its own breaker. So if you can see here, there's 4 air conditioners on this coach. Every air conditioner has its own breaker. The outlets have their own breakers. So many times in a home or a building, you have to kill a breaker to work on electric. You might lose a whole room, you might lose a half a room. Well, on our coaches, we design those so that if you need to work on something, you're only killing the piece of equipment or turning off the piece of equipment that you need to work on. These big breakers here are where you can switch from generator 1 to generator 2 or to shore power, and then you have volt meters. The electrical system in the back of our coaches is completely autonomous from the chassis or the Freightliner electrical system, with one exception. So they don't connect except for this little button right here, which is called Boost Start. What that is if you're driving to a remote location and you get out there and your truck is running and you go to start your generator to work and your generator battery's low and maybe it won't turn over. You can come in here and flip that switch and it'll use the Freightliner or the chassis battery and start your generator. On the other hand, if it's the opposite, you're working all day, your generator's running, you complete your work, you go to start your coach and the battery's low. Flip that same switch, you can start the engine, the diesel engine on the Freightliner off of the generator battery. That's the only place where these 2 electrical systems connect to each other. Other than that, they're completely autonomous. One other thing, every one of our coaches comes with both carbon monoxide and smoke detection. So we have a carbon or your smoke detector right here, and that's a combo unit. And then we have a carbon detection in the back. So we do that on every coach as well. Now we're going to take a minute and look at the chassis on which we built the Blood Clinic. All of our coaches that are 29 foot up to 45 feet are built on either the Freightliner M2 chassis or the Peterbilt 536 chassis. This happens to be a Freightliner M2. It's a 26,000 pound chassis powered by a 6.8 liter Cummins diesel engine and an Allison 10-speed automatic transmission. We order these chassis with all of the comforts of driver comforts as you're running down the road. Now, again, the Cummins diesel engine, the Allison transmission, you have 100 gallons of diesel fuel on 2 50-gallon saddle tanks. All of your generators, if you have Webasto heat, all run off of those fuel tanks. So you have 100 gallons of fuel to run this coach. The other thing about the way we set these up is your generator and your Webasto heater, we have set up to where if your fuel gauge in your tank gets to 1/4 of a tank or below, it's going to shut down your generator and shut off your heat. That's a protection so you don't get stranded and you're not able to take the truck to go refill it with fuel. So that's a safety feature that happens on purpose. Now we're going to come around and look inside the truck. Every one of our chassis are air ride suspension, captain's chair, dual captain chair air ride seats. We have collision mitigation, we have lane departure, we have adaptive cruise control, we have power windows, power door locks, tilt and telescopic steering, power steering, and again, I said air brakes. The transmission lever is on the dashboard, much like an automobile. They're very simple to drive. The thing you need to be wary of when you're driving one is simply the length to make turns and the height. but they're very simple to drive, and there's a lot of comfort there for the driver. Your diesel exhaust fluid tank is right here. With federal regulations, obviously you have to do that. Now, when you go to fuel these things up, you can go to any station that has diesel fuel. However, if you go to that station, you fill one tank, the tanks will level. So if you fill this tank and don't fill the other side, this tank will go down to half, that other tank will come up to half. If you go to a truck stop or someplace that's set up to handle large trucks where there is a nozzle on each side, you can fill both tanks at once and have completely full tanks. So if you do fill up one tank and then all of a sudden you look and your fuel gauge says half, that's what's happened. These are self-leveling tanks and they draw equally off of both sides. Thank you for letting me give you this tour of this blood coach.